17th, 2023 to order at 6 o'clock. Mayor Hayden is out this week, and as deputy mayor, I will be facilitating this week's meeting. Will you please join me? I'm talking to myself. Okay. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Potato,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Cole,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Stewart. Councilmember Stewart is present. He might be having technical difficulty.
So it looks like we've reached a quorum. So will the clerk please read the consent agenda for this evening?
Item number 1, lease agreements, Carol's Garage and Car Village. Item 2, approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting of January 3rd, 2023 and January 9th, 2023 study session.
Councilmember Potato, would you please make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Pat Cole. It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Would any council member wish to remove an item? Seeing none, so we'll move on as planned.
Excuse me, Mayor Hayden, or excuse me, Mayor Cindy. I'm sorry. We do need to have it if it passed or not.
Okay,
Thank you.
Then we will vote.
Actually, you already have voted, but you do need to announce the votes.
Oh, was it unanimously?
Yes.
Okay, it passed.
Madam Clerk, we actually have not voted. We have a motion and a second, but we.
Thank
need
you
to take
very
a vote.
much for your
Thank you.
correction.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So it is passed anonymously. Nope, unanimously. Okay, so next is regular business.
Now
And
I'm
we have-
hearing the mayor or deputy mayor.
Yes. So there is no unfinished business tonight, so we'll move on to public comment. The public was encouraged to submit their comments to the city clerk by email before tonight's meeting, so the clerk may read those emails received into the record. Clerk, do you have any public comments you've received?
Not tonight.
Does any public listening or watching have any comments that they would like to make regarding items not on the agenda tonight? If you do, please raise your hand. Use your raise a hand feature, or if you are participating by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Jeff, you don't see any? There are none. So I guess we have no public comment this evening. We'll move on to new business. And the ordinance is number 2840, updating Sumner Municipal Code 13.360060 storm credits. Councilmember Stewart, would you please make a motion? Is he still having difficulties this evening? He's on mute.
There we go. Hello, sorry, I had to rejoin as a participant.
Okay.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and members of the City Council for having me tonight. So ordinance
Mr.
20.
Wright?
Yes.
Actually, we have not.
Oh, I'm sorry. That made me leave and then rejoin. So I thought we were there.
Ms. Newman, could you make the motion? Do you have a packet?
I think I have it in front of me. I will move that we consider, oh, I have the old packet in front of me. Oh, I just lost it.
Okay, then I'll move on to Ms. Potato.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to accept the ordinance number 2840, updating Sumner Municipal Code 13.36.060 storm credits.
Yes, do I have a second for that?
Second.
Was that Mr. Reed?
Yes.
So we have made the motion. We have a second by Mr. Reed, and now I'm going to call on Environmental and Sustainability Specialist Robert Wright.
Thank you, Deputy Mayors and members of City Council. Apologies for the error on my part. So ordinance 2840 is intended to clarify a section of 1336.060, which currently gives a 50% credit on the stormwater bill to businesses with their own ecology stormwater permit. The intent of the credit was primarily to reflect the additional oversight businesses had by the Department of Ecology, which also reduced the amount of oversight that we needed to have on them. Since then, ecology permits have changed and many properties only have a portion of their site permitted. Giving this discount to a partially permitted site doesn't reduce staff burden, as they still have to be inspected regularly. We also wanted to avoid giving discounts to businesses who frequently violated their permit. So the change to the code is really a requirement that the entire property is covered by this ecology stormwater permit, and that these businesses must apply for the discount annually, which is when we would verify whether or not their permit is in good standing and free of any major violations. We took this item to the Public Works Committee in November, and the committee had given it a due pass. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Wright? Is there any discussion among the council members here? So is there any public who would like to speak on this issue? You don't see anybody, Jeff? Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Cole,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Stewart, Councilmember Stewart,
Looks like he's still having technical difficulties.
Hochstetter,
Yes,
Potato,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
the ordinance passes 6-0 here. So I guess we're good to move on. Is somebody trying to help Councilman Stewart? Okay,
Yes, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, we've been working with him, Mr. Stephens and Ms. Marquez, so.
all right. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to reports. We'll have council reports first, and we'll start down at that end. Mr. Brown?
That's it tonight.
Ms. Potato?
Yeah, last week at our study session, the Pierce County Library spoke to us about their plans for building a new library. And I'd encourage everybody to attend the open house at the Sumner Library on Tuesday, January 31st from 11 to noon and 3 to 4 to give input about what you would like to see at the new library that is proposed to be built here.
Thank you. Ms. Cole?
Yes, one item, I had the opportunity tonight to participate in interviews for a Sumner community rep for the Pierce County Force Investigation Task Force, and so that was a lot of fun.
Good.
That's it for me.
Thank you. Ms. Newman,
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Reed,
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
and we'll try Mr. Stewart one more time. It's not working out. Okay, so I will move on to city administrator.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor and Council. Coming up at next week's study session, we're going to be talking about the 2023 refuse rates. And we'll have representatives from Murray's Disposal that'll be present to answer our questions about the rate increases that go into effect March 1st. Then we'll be moving on to discuss the compost procurement policy. This is a new ordinance that'll be before council for consideration. But really it's required that we adopt a compost procurement policy under state law. And so we'll be going through what that entails. Then we'll be giving an update on the Rainier View Covered Court. We're getting close to going out to bid on that project. But like everything, we're hitting some supply chain issues as well as some cost overruns due to labor and the cost of goods. So we'll be discussing that with you. And then we'll be going into the White River Restoration Project. You know, the city's been working on this project for a decade now, believe it or not. It's almost it's remarkable that we've been working on it this long, but the good news is we're getting towards the end. So it's time to get back in front of council and let you know the next steps, because you're going to start seeing some things you're going to take some action on later on this year. We will also have an executive session next week after the meeting to discuss potential litigation. January 30th, it's a 5th Monday, so no meeting. I'll have that night off. And then be coming back on February 6th for the regular council meeting, where you'll consider the compost procurement policy ordinance, a resolution authorizing the condemnation of 801 Cherry, and then appointment of a design commissioner, as well as an appointment of a parks and forestry commissioner. On the policy follow-up front, I'm excited to tell you that we have started with our pilot project for the MIC Transit. If you haven't heard, the name of it is the Sumner Commuter Connector. It's parked out in our back parking lot. If you drive by during the day or at the evening, you'll be able to see the bus. It's all wrapped. It looks really great. We do have signed agreements with LKQ and Sekisui, and we have additional agreements that are really close with a number of other businesses in the North End. And I'm pleased to say we actually had a rider today. So it is starting, and it was remarkably, it was a rider that doesn't even work for either one of the two people we have signed agreements for. That's how excited people are to be using this new service. Next week, we have the State of the City's Chamber event. We do have 2 council members signed up, Mr. Reed and Ms. Potato. We have 2 seats left. If there's any other council members that are interested in attending that, please get with Michelle. Once again, that is next Tuesday, the 24th at 11:30. It'll be held at the Pioneer Pavilion in Puyallup. Later on tonight, we do have an executive session. For those of you that are attending virtually, please check your email. You do have a separate virtual meeting invite from Ms. Marquez. If you're having trouble, reach out to me or Ms. Marquez and we'll get you into that meeting. With that, I'm happy to answer any of council's questions.
Ms. Potato?
You know, with all the work being done for the water pipes, what is the status? I noticed like at Kincaid and Park, they've been there for quite a while. Is there any update on, you know, when do you expect it to be finished?
You know, that is a project that is done in phases, and I'd encourage you to go on to our Sumner Connects page. We provide weekly updates about where we're at in the construction and what is coming next. It is a challenging project. This is a project where we're replacing infrastructure that's over 100 years old, right? So you can imagine they're running into challenges that we didn't expect. City Hall's been without water, I think 4 times in the last week because they're excavating and they find that the service lines have been leaking and the only way to fix that is to turn off the main. And so it's definitely been a challenge, but it's definitely making steady and good progress.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
I think that might be it. Ms.
All right.
Wilson, thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I just have a couple of comments that I'd like to bring to everybody's attention this evening. And one is we're going to have another open house. And that's for updated designs on Heritage Park and activating the downtown alleys. That'll be Wednesday, January 25th from 4 to 6 and at Electric Coffee. So that should be a lot more fun than coming into City Hall. So everybody should try and drop by and give their opinions and their 2 cents. And if you can't make that, you can go to the online survey that is underway via our city website. Another good thing everyone needs to know about is the utility bill pay reminder. If you haven't already tried it out, the new online utility bill system is smoother and works better. So give it another try, and it gives you options. It has options for single pay without logging in, for setting up reoccurring payments, and for scheduling payments if you're going to be out of town. So you can start right on our website at www.sumnerwa.gov. So we've heard a lot of good things about this new system. So everybody who likes to pay that way should give it another try. Is that it for everyone then, except for the most important thing? Andrea gave me the look. We're going to go into executive session. There is an executive session tonight for the purpose of discussing with legal counsel litigation or potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 in parentheses 1 in parentheses I for a period of 30 minutes. There will be no action to follow. So this meeting is adjourned into executive session at, I have 6:16.